as you guys know, I always say every drive should end with a kick, and I think they all understand. We have this saying, the mind of a coach, but the skill of a player. That's mitigating risk on plays when they come in. It's 3rd and 2. I got a fade ball and I got a hitch. Which one should I throw? Let's mitigate the risk, and the more efficient throw is the hitch. I think all 3 of those guys understand that, and so that in itself makes us a better team.
Like the offensive line is an area you don't have that much experience returning, a lot of new faces. How has that progressed during camp?
I am excited about it because we've got a really talented group of players. I see young players that will be in our 2 deep, and to me that means we've expedited their growth because we signed a big class of high school offensive linemen, and I see 2 or 3 of them being in that I call them 2.5 mode, 2 deep. One may be kind of a swing 3-2 guys, and to have that depth, to have that ability with the way they've developed, and it's a byproduct of the resources we poured into the position.
Mike, with the starters you have back on defense, how can they contribute to making the quarterback competition that much better?
Hey, it's the quarterback's best friend is when people don't score the ball, and again, we're counting on the leadership on that side as we've become a defensive-esque team, and that the leadership on that side has been great, and it's not just them leading defense because we've talked a little bit about sometimes you take the guy from the winning boat and put him on a losing boat, and he has the ability to have effect on that losing boat to where they win. And I see where this team is a little different than some of the others, where that side of the ball, the red jerseys are over with the white jerseys, and not in that competitive nature, but hey bro, let's go, we got to get this going. And so that being defensive led and the emotion in which our defense practices and plays is spilling over to where you're starting to see the offense gain a defensive mentality.
With the uncertainty at quarterback, how much does it help in terms of comfortability, knowing that you have Roman in the backfield that you can hand the ball?
Yeah, there's no uncertainty at quarterback. We've got a quarterback in our program. We have a few quarterbacks in our program that we think can play winning football. If anything has come out of this, when you ask how the quarterback's doing, I have a room that can play winning football, and the expectation is that any of the 3 can do it. But is it nice to have Roman Hemby as an insurance policy behind you? It sure is. And Kobe McDonald and the Nolan Rays of the world, and we got a couple freshmen that have really popped on tape for us as well, and I'm excited for that room. And if the run game can improve like we've seen, and we have the talent at the running back position, obviously people know about Ty and KP. We got some guys. We'll be okay.
Where are you at on the tight end position? I know.
Where am I at? Oh, that preparation. Whoa, that didn't even sound right coming out. Where are you at?
In terms of kind of judging the young guys and Preston and Dean, do you kind of expect that position to play a larger impact in the offense this year?
I mean, they've played a huge role in the last couple of years. We have Corey Deitch is no longer here. The production he's given us, and you look at that position. I mean, Chig's in the NFL. Tyler's in the NFL still playing, tight end with Seattle, Mabry, and that position has always been critical, and those 2 guys were recruited to play the position. Some of the other guys we've inherited, and so with the length they both have and the athleticism that Dylan and Preston have, and Laron Husbands, who has struggled and fought through injury, and now I'm starting to see the things that I know attracted to us to recruit them here. That room is the one I think that has probably the most promise. And I can remember a year ago talking about, the young receivers or the young running back room. That young tight end room has a chance to be a pretty good room for us.
But you talked about the defensive leadership group, how they've really come in. Where do you see Glendon Miller fitting into that? And then where do you see him fitting into the defense this year? More available snaps at safety. He played a lot of slot corner last year.
Yeah, he's a Swiss Army knife, and he'll continue. The last guy I can remember that had this skill set that you see out of Glendon as a kid, Minka Fitzpatrick. Played corner, can play star in our defensive system, played safety, and Glenn's one of those guys. I mean, he of all the players in the program, he's one of the guys that I think has come the furthest. And I'm talking from his off-the-field habits to becoming a leader, a guy that's graduated with a degree. And I mean, Glenn is. You ever had those kids that when they start to get it, and as a parent, you're like, finally. and that's where I'm at with Glendon, and he's been a great leader. And you know what? You got to have players that have his testimony in your program because they help some of the younger guys maybe avoid some of those pitfalls. And I see Glenn taking on that type of role, and The talent is there. He's a guy that will play on Sundays, and I think he'll be a guy that has his name called early.
Take two more. Michael, what's a star?
Star is our nickel position. We call it the star position. I'm sorry. Maybe said too much. Can I strike that from the record? Not the star position. It's the nickel or whatever you want to call it.
You were kind of talking about a veteran, obviously, in Glenn, and Neo Avery, another guy coming in. Obviously, he got a chance to be with the program last year, but just kind of getting a chance to really get his feet wet and kind of going into fall camp, hopefully make his debut next weekend.
Yeah, Neo is the guy that everybody, a big recruit, a guy that came in with a lot of notoriety, a guy that has battled through adversity, and you'll hear that a lot about this team, and that's what I think I like most about this team is you got to go through things, you got to fail, you got to have injuries, you got to have a testimony to pass the test, and Neo's been one of those guys, man. He had a couple of years of high school ball taken away from him. He gets here, he's got a wrist, he's got an arm, a knee. He's finally healthy, and I know I'm excited to see him. He's put on some good weight. He's in a really good shape, and he's a guy that we're counting on as one of the younger players in our program to elevate us because, you know, as an interior pass rusher, a stand-up pass rusher, he's strong, powerful, big-bodied. If he stays healthy, I think he'll be able to contribute and create a role for himself.